Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's GTA 5 video, we are going to be taking a look back at Grand Theft Auto Online over the years as we celebrate its 6th anniversary today. That's right, today is October 1st, 2019, and on this day 6 years ago, Rockstar introduced Grand Theft Auto Online to the world. Now, I know what my first experience was. It was trying to complete the tutorial, having that not work, trying to complete the tutorial again, getting halfway through the race only to be disconnected, finally getting in a lobby but getting disconnected a couple of minutes later. It was a mess at the very beginning, but what I want to do today is actually look back at Grand Theft Auto Online over the years, all the updates, and how it's changed. And right now in the comments down below, I want you to let me know, what is your favorite update that has been released so far? Was it one of the more simpler ones back in 2013? Was it one of the more advanced ones that we've seen in recent years, in 2018 or 2019? So it all began in 2013 when on November 19th, we actually got the Beach Bum update. And what was cool about this update is everything was free. So there was a couple of weapons, there was a couple of vehicles, some clothing, tattoos, hairstyles, and some jobs. It was neat because everything was free. And what was also cool is Rockstar introduced the vehicles and weapons into Grand Theft Auto 5 Story Mode too, something we haven't really seen them do ever since. In December of 2013, we actually got two updates. We got the Content Creator update, which allowed players to create their own deathmatch and races, and a week later they introduced the Capture update, where they introduced Capture the Flag to Grand Theft Auto Online. And then the week after that, Rockstar introduced the Holiday Gifts, essentially our first Christmas update in Grand Theft Auto Online, where snowfall was present across San Andreas on Christmas Day, and they introduced some time-limited festive content. So that brings us to 2014, where on February 13th, we actually received the Valentine's Day Massacre Special, where we got the Gusenberg Sweeper, the Albany Roosevelt, we got some new clothing, hairstyles, and a couple of other options too. This was a really fun, festive update. All the content for that actually expired on March 3rd, 2014. Now, just a couple of weeks later, we actually received the Business Update on March 4th, 2014, and this featured a handful of brand new vehicles like the Albany Alpha, the Dinka Jester, and the Grotti Turismo R, as well as a new plane, the Buckingham Vestra, the Heavy Pistol, and the Special Carbine. There was also some tattoos, hairstyles, and weapons. It was a really cool update. And sort of spawning off of that update, just a couple of months later, was the High Life update that introduced the Anus Huntley S, the Debauche Massacro, and the Pegassi Zentorno, as well as a new motorcycle, the Dinka Thrust. It sort of built off of that by adding high-end clothing, apartments, jobs, and contact missions, and that was released on May 13th, 2014. Now, just 1 month later, Rockstar introduced the I Am Not a Hipster update on June 17th, 2014, which featured 7 new cars, the Pagale, the Vapid Blade, the Class A Rhapsody, Volcar Warner, the Benefactor Glendale, Benefactor Panto, and the Benefactor Dubs to 6x6. 12 new jobs and a host of other adjustments, game tuning, and exploit fixes. This is a big update, and it was also a surprise one that Rockstar didn't announce. Now, a month later, there was a time-limited content update, the first Independence Day special, with a July 4th theme featuring new weapons, new vehicles like the Vapid Liberator and the Western Sovereign, USA-themed clothing, face paints, and more safe houses. Now, after that, on August 19th, 2014, Rockstar introduced the San Andreas Flight School update that featured the Coquette Classic, the Buckingham Swift, the Western Company Bezra, and it also introduced the Flight School to online with a bunch of new jobs and ability to buy new parachute bags, stuff like that. It was a pretty fun update. We had really never seen anything like that in the past. On October 2nd, 2014, Rockstar introduced the Last Team Standing update, which primarily featured on the Last Team Standing mode, but also introduced the Ferrari GT, the Shitsu Hakachu, and a couple of new weapons as well. Then on December 18th, 2014, Rockstar introduced the Festive Surprise, which featured the Bravado Rat Truck, Slam Van, and race car versions of the Debauche Massacro and Dinka Jester, as well as the Proximity Mines and Homing Launchers, a ton of festive themed content, and more. This expired on January 5th, 2015. And that brings us to 2015, where the first major update we got was the Heist update. And this came out on March 10th, 2015. And this is actually the first update where none of the content was added to single player. As I'm sure you guys know, it featured a ton of new vehicles, 7 of them, in fact, and 2 new planes. It introduced Heist and adversary modes to online. It was a huge update. Now, after that, on June 10th, we got Ill-Gotten Gains Part 1, which was the first of a 2-part luxury DLC featuring fast supercars, aircrafts, and clothing. And then on July 8th, 2015, we got Ill-Gotten Gains Part 2, which was essentially the same thing, but in a second version. This is also the last update to be added to the Xbox 360 and the PS3. Rockstar confirmed that all subsequent updates after that would be exclusive to PS4, Xbox One, and PC. And the first one of those we saw was the Free Roam Events update on September 15th, 2015, which didn't add any new tangible content, but instead it was just a bunch of free mode events for online and some new adversary modes. 1 month later, on October 20th, 2015, we saw the introduction of Grand Theft Auto Online Lowriders, which introduced a ton of new vehicles, and also the Benny's Original Motorwork Garage Shop. This update, in my opinion, was the first big one that changed Grand Theft Auto Online forever. I mean, the introduction of Benny's would spawn so many different variants of vehicles for years to come. Now, later on in that month, Rockstar would introduce the Halloween Surprise, a time-limited content update featuring the Frankenstein, the Slasher, adversary mode, a bunch of different content like clothing, masks, face paints, and more. It was a really nice update. We then got another big update on December 15th, 2015, Executives and Other Criminals, where Rockstar introduced a ton of new content. The biggest of the bunch is probably the Stilt Homes, luxury high-end apartments with customizable interiors, and also the Super Yachts. So lots of new properties that Rockstar introduced here, a ton of armored and luxury vehicles, and some new weapons as well. It was a huge update. And later on that month, Rockstar introduced the Festive Surprise that featured adversary modes like Beast vs. Slasher. The Declasse Tampa arrived. There was also the introduction of, obviously, Snowfall, new Christmas clothing and trees around town. It was a really good update. That was the Festive Surprise in 2015. Then that leads us to 2016, where I wish I knew what to call this update. I'm pretty sure it's called the January 2016 update. This introduced the Bravado Banshee 900R and the Karen Sultan RS, as well as the adversary mode drop zone. A few weeks later, we got the Be My Valentine update on February 10th, 2016, which actually featured the Gusenberg Sweeper, the Albany Roosevelt, and the Roosevelt Valor, as well as a new adversary mode. After that, we got sort of a second version of the Lowriders update on March 15th, 2016. Lowriders Customs Classics, which introduced more vehicles to be added in Benny's Original Motorworks. The next one was a big one. That is the Finance and Felony update on June 7th, 2016. This introduced the first business in Grand Theft Auto Online, allowing our players to become CEOs, buy offices and warehouses, sell contraband, and run criminal organizations. Now, on top of that, it still introduced a ton of new vehicles and items, but the big part of this was owning and operating that business outside of your office. Now, literally just a month later, Rockstar introduced another huge update, and that was the Grand Theft Auto Online Cunning Stunts update that featured 10 new land vehicles, brand new stunt races, clothing items. It also featured a ton of drip feed vehicles that we saw. This is the first time that Rockstar really utilized drip feeding and having them release weeks and months after the update itself actually came out. Now, on October 4th, 2016, we saw Rockstar introduce GTA Online Bikers, which featured another new business, this time becoming a motorcycle club and choosing to have different businesses and clubhouses. There was also a ton of new bikes added with an exclusive bike shop. This was an amazing update, in my opinion. And the update that ended the year for 2016 was GTA Online Import-Export, which featured an add-on to the CEO work that we were already doing, allowing us to boost and sell cars. It also featured new special vehicle work. It also introduced special vehicles to the game, things like the Ruiner 2000 and the Rocket Voltic. This was an insane update. It was essentially like the Fast and Furious Gone in 60 Seconds version for Grand Theft Auto Online. It was incredible. Then that leads us to 2017. You'll notice that in 2017, things seemed to slow down just a little bit. The first update was Cunning Stunts Special Vehicle Circuit, which was essentially an add-on to Cunning Stunts. The update we got in 2016 added some new vehicles, stunt races, and more. On June 13th, 2017, Rockstar introduced Grand Theft Auto Online Gun Running, which was another major update, building off of the businesses that we have established, allowing us to have bunkers with weaponized vehicles and sourcing and selling contraband again. This introduced the weaponized vehicle trend in Grand Theft Auto Online. A couple months later, we essentially got the air raid version of gun running, Smuggler's Run, which introduced air freight cargo missions and expanded upon further adventures in finance and felony. It focused on aircraft hangars, which can now be purchased to store air freight vehicles. And then in December 2017, we got the Doomsday Heist update, which built off the first heist missions, but this time featured new facilities and Doomsday-themed heist, which allowed us to unlock fully customizable vehicles. There was a ton of things added, including adversary modes, new content, and more. It was a huge update. Rockstar really ended the year with a bang. In 2018, Rockstar introduced another racing update, Grand Theft Auto Online Southern San Andreas Super Sports Series, which essentially built off of yet again the Cunning Stunts update, featuring some new cars, racing vehicles, and more. What I think is the biggest update in 2018 was Grand Theft Auto Online After Hours, that introduced nightclubs to the game, player-owned and fully interactive property, which served as a central point to conduct business opportunities, nightclub management missions, hire DJs, and a whole lot more. That came out on July 24th, 2018. And Rockstar ended the year on December 11th, 2018 with the Arena War update, which basically opened up the arena in-game, and players can purchase their own spot in the arena and compete in several different missions. This update technically introduced 48 separate new vehicles, including 5 arena-ready vehicles. It was an insane update, that's for sure. And that leads us to 2019, where so far the only update that has come out is the Diamond Casino and Resort. Probably the biggest update that Rockstar has ever done, introducing formally the Casino and Resort, a newly opened business in East Vinewood, new missions, new vehicles, penthouses, gambling games to play. It is an insane update, let's just say that. But anyways, that right there is Grand Theft Auto Online 6 years later, and a look back at all of the content that Rockstar has introduced. What's insane is every single one of these updates has been free, so you really do have to applaud Rockstar there. Again, let me know in the comments down below, which of these did you think were the best and your favorite? If I could only choose one, I think I would say the Diamond Casino and Resort, just because of how game-changing that was, but I was a huge fan of the Lowriders update when that first came out. So I'm also really fond of that. But again, let me know your thoughts, opinions more in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you guys did go to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would of course be awesome. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new. You want to stay up to date on all the latest Red Dead Redemption and GTA videos that I'm doing here on my channel. And be sure to ring that notification bell as well. Sometimes YouTube just doesn't work, and if you ring that bell, you'll always be guaranteed to be notified when new videos arrive. But of course, as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.